These days on X, there really is no way around posts that tell you how amazing Opus 4.5 by Anthropic is as an AI model for coding, and how it totally changes the game for developers, potentially making developers redundant. So yeah, let's dive a bit into that hype and let me share my perspective on that. So as mentioned, there are many posts, so I just picked a few here that you can find on X that tell you what a game changer Claude Opus 4.5 is and how it changes everything for developers. It's a watershed moment, moving software creation from an artisanal craftsman activity to a true industrial process. You will find many posts like this on X, but is it like this? Well, Claude Opus 4.5, the best model in the world for coding, as Anthropic calls it, unsurprisingly, was introduced at the end of November 2025. And of course, it had amazing benchmark numbers because, let's be real, all model announcements come with those amazing benchmark numbers. Now, the interesting thing is, I did indeed start using it pretty much right away at the end of November, early December, as part of my Claude Code subscription. And yeah, I'll say it. It is a pretty good model. By the way, in another video I created where I share my predictions on AI, the dev job market, and so on, I mentioned that I don't see models become exponentially better in 2026, but that we're kind of reaching a plateau. And that kind of goes against Opus 4.5 being such a game changer. Well, in that video, I also mentioned that the real development or advancement regarding those AI models will not necessarily come from the raw intelligence of those models, but instead by how well they can interact with tools, how well they can follow instructions, and by the applications in which those models are being used. And there I predicted a good improvement also in the next year. So here we're on a linear trajectory upwards, I'd say. And that's important because Claude Opus 4.5, in my opinion, feels so much better than some other models because it's really good at following instructions and calling tools. Now, don't get me wrong, like all these AI models, it can wander off. Like all these AI models, it can hallucinate, and depending on where and how you use it, it can generate slop. Yes, Opus 4.5 can do that as well. But when using it with Claude Code or OpenCode, a tool which I really like these days, but also, of course, Cursor or other AI agent tools, it can do really good work, especially if you give it access to your browser through the Cursor browser integration, for example, or through the Playwright MCP, and if you have unit tests and end-to-end tests it can run. So if you give it a way of verifying its output, and that's the other important part, if you give it good instructions and steer it in the right direction. Because when it comes to using AI models efficiently, it's really about all these three things. You need a good model, you need good tooling, and you need good prompts and context. And that is what I mean with steer it into the right direction. You want to be clear about what the model should do, about which practices or patterns or technologies it should use, and a lot of other things. For example, this very website here, Maxed%, which might not be online yet when you're viewing this video, I don't know yet, is actually my standalone, from the ground built up alternative to Excalidraw and other tools like this. And I'm building this with help of AI and with help of a spec document, for example, which I created, where in detail I lay out which features and technologies I want to use, how that should be structured, how my types should be set up, and many other things. Now, I also update that document together with AI as the project evolves, but that is how I'm building a tool like this, which gives me all these features here where I can insert different stuff and, well, build a competitor, an alternative to Excalidraw and so on with AI. And that's just one example, of course. Build My Graphic would be another example, a tool which I built that you can use to build infographics with help of AI. I'm using AI models for that. I'm using Opus 4.5 for that. But it's not like I'm telling the model, hey, build me this website, and it goes ahead and builds it one shot perfectly. Instead, I provide a plan, a very detailed plan. I update that plan over time, and I provide very detailed instructions. I also build it feature by feature based on a plan. So it's not just the model, it's the combination of all these factors. And as you might see, this last factor here, that's you. That's the developer. A good model, that's Anthropic. Good tooling, that is Cursor, and so on. This part here is you steering the model or the tool in the right direction. That is you. And that's the part I kind of miss amongst all that hype here. Because, yeah, Opus 4.5 is a really good model. And for me, it works better than some other models when using AI for development. And I shared before in many other videos that I'm a heavy user of AI in my development workflow. It does change the way we build software, I would say. But it's not that magic thing. Opus 4.5 is not that magic thing that does it all alone. Instead, I'd say it's a model that works very well with existing tooling to enable developers like you and me to work efficiently with it. That's the part it does better. And that, of course, implies that there will be a shift in how we developers work. It'll be a combination of writing some code, creating a detailed plan, evaluating that plan, evolving that plan over time, designing the overall system, defining which tests should be written by AI, for example, defining which features to work on and in which order. Of course, also determining which technologies or patterns to be used. And these are the parts where your experience as a developer can make a huge difference, because all these models can still produce spaghetti code or use bad patterns or build applications that are not performant at all. For example, this application here where I'm drawing on a canvas, I don't want to build this with standard React page updates where I update the canvas multiple times per second as I draw, for example. That would not be performant. That is something I know as a developer, hoping that the model does it right could work, but is not guaranteed to work. So that is where I, again, steer the model. And that's what's annoying about that hype. But I get it. That's the internet these days. It's all about hype, all about rage bait. But yeah, it's a good model. Opus 4.5 is a good model. I recommend trying it. I recommend giving AI-powered development a shot, because as I also shared in this video and many other videos, it is the future. I would say there really is no way around it, at least if you want to get a job or keep your job. But don't follow hypes like this blindly, and don't feel threatened or intimidated by them. It's easy to feel intimidated. It's easy to feel left behind or have the feeling that soon nobody's going to need your skills. And it's the opposite. Those tools, those models can be accelerators. But in order to be accelerators, they need someone that's capable of controlling and using them efficiently. And that can be you.